Japan's Prime Minister Fumio Kishida will face his first major test on Sunday as the country goes to the polls to choose a new parliament. Opinion polls show it could be difficult for the ruling Liberal Democratic Party to hang on to its outright majority. Mr. Kishida is hoping to emerge from the shadow of his predecessor. Michio Ishida explains.
Canvassing the neighborhoods of central Tokyo for votes is the first time 30-year-old Shin Tsuchida represents the ruling Liberal Democratic Party in a general election. A senior LDP member came by this evening to show support. Tatsuo Fukuda is the new chairman of the party's general council. At 54, Mr. Fukuda is considered an up-and-coming young politician, handpicked by Prime Minister Fumio Kishida to take on one of the most important jobs in the ruling party. Mr. Fukuda is one of many new faces that Mr. Kishida promoted when he won the LDP leadership race a month ago, as he promised to inject new blood into the government. But even with 13 first-time ministers in his cabinet, Mr. Kishida is having a hard time convincing voters that there is a clean break with the policies and scandals of his predecessors.
Former
Prime Minister Shinzo Abe abruptly resigned in September 2020 due to health reasons. His right-hand man, Yoshihide Suga, briefly filled the leadership vacuum with his blessings. But Mr. Suga had to step down with only a year in office amid public dissatisfaction with his government's handling of the pandemic. Professor Koichi Nakano of Sophia University said, Mr. Abe's high-handed way of passing controversial laws and political scandals had alienated voters over the years. That could work against the LDP in the coming election.
In the past 9 years almost, since Mr. Abe took back power for the ruling LDP, the government has really shifted to the right and also started to ignore constitutional constraints or illegal constraints, and also, they were not really governing in the interest of the people in mind.
Professor Nakano said the outcome of the LDP leadership election last month to replace Mr. Suga with Mr. Kishida signaled that Mr. Abe and his allies continue to wield significant influence in the party.
I think there was media expectation that he's going to be more liberal, moderate, and he's going to change the LDP. But having seen him winning the way he did, with the helping hand, crucial helping hand of people like Mr. Abe and Mr. Aso, the former Prime Minister and the former Deputy Prime Minister. He really is relied on them. And we have also seen that he really kind of flip-flopped on the kind of policy promises.
Before he stepped down in 2020, Shinzo Abe led the ruling coalition to victory in the previous 6 national elections as the country's longest-serving prime minister. The coming vote on Sunday will be the first national election in 9 years that the LDP is fighting with someone other than Mr. Abe as leader. It's a new reality that voters are also trying to get used to.
メガネかけてるおじさんって感じです。ぶっちゃけ安倍総理がずっといたんで、そっちの方がなんか印象に残ってるというか。
ちょっとどこに投票していいかわからないのが本音ですね。
Latest media surveys show LDP still has more support than any other parties. In the last general election in 2017, the LDP won a landslide victory, and with its coalition partner Komeito secured a 2/3 majority, meaning they can even revise the constitution. But political watchers do not think such victory will be repeated this time. But a high voter turnout could change the picture. About 30% of voters say they are not affiliated to any party. That's nearly as large as the LDP's support base. In the last general election, voter turnout was 54%, the second lowest in the post-war era. Michio Ishida, CNA, Tokyo.